For this month's video, I thought we'd take a break from some of the modeling we've been doing the last few videos and run some trains through the completed scenes. Also, since I had the opportunity in September to visit the Railview Model Railway Club and take a number of photos and videos, I thought I'd share those with you here. One of the highlights of that layout is the model of Bayview Junction. Lots of interesting scenes covering much of southwestern Ontario. Here we see one of the jointly operated Quebec and New England Conrail Intermodal service trains. This is one of two trains we keep on the layout largely for background operations. They don't form part of the regular day-to-day switching operations, but they're useful to have running when people come to visit. Both the trains can be run in continuous loops on the two mainline tracks, and they're also handy for testing the layout with the longer cars, the most finicky ones. So you may have seen these concepts before, but as I said, the intent here is to see what things look like with the new scenery completed and a train passing through the scene. I always like the effect of getting reflections of the trains in the lake. This is a representation of Ford's Oakville assembly plant. For many years they were assembling Windstars at this location. I'm not sure what they're producing today. Off to the right, I think, is a representation of St. Lawrence Cement. On the prototype, it's accessed via a long spur in Oakville. It's actually at the waterfront of Lake Ontario. There are other types of heavy industry represented along the Oakville subdivision. Here you see petrochemicals. And here we see Burlington West, which is the junction between the Halton subdivision and the Oakville subdivision, which connects to the main classification yard in Vaughan, seen as Macmillan Yard. The main line then passes through a wall into a separate room where Aldershot Yard is represented. It's not fully scenic yet. Leaving Aldershot Yard, we pass through another wall and we arrive at a beautiful representation of Bayview Junction. There's a very low track to scenery ratio, which really gives you that sense that you're there. It includes representation of the Royal Botanical Gardens, the main roadway that crosses over the junction. It includes both the CN and CP tracks. And speaking of CP, here's a train coming through the junction. Apologies for the other voices you hear on the recording. This is, after all, an open house, and there's lots of excited folks watching and enjoying the show.
An interesting story. So, and the reaction, of course, Ukraine and Russia is also very good. Yeah, of course. Yeah. So, have you... What's going on with the bridge? Look at it.
Here we see Amtrak's Maple Leaf on its way from New York City, downtown Toronto.
Oh, it's I know it is.
It is?
It's over
Look
here.
at the town.
Dad.
Look at the town. Oh, there's one.
Oh my. Come on, Dad.
Through. It's gonna come through. Come on.
Here we see a westbound CN freight beginning its ascent up the Dundas Hill towards London and points west.
Dad.
Lots of stuff.
10 trees for 10
Looks like we have some finished vehicles from the QNE auto plant at Ingersoll making its way eastbound. Watch closely as the rail fans snap their pictures.
We'll stop pretty soon, unfortunately. Okay.
Even when there are no trains running, there are plenty of detailed scenes to soak up. CN's Hamilton Yard is just around the bend from Bayview Junction, and here we see lots of detailed scenes to represent it. I think I overheard one of the club members explaining that the Hamilton station you see here is a 3D print of the actual station, or a good representation of the actual station in Hamilton. And here are some recognizable sights from Hamilton, selectively compressed, of course.
Yeah.
And here's Amtrak's Maple Leaf making its way back to Niagara Falls and onto New York City.
Something in the same boat as
We do have it, so we have the
That's a tweezer.
program.
If you look closely, many of the buildings on the layout have fully completed detailed interiors. Around the bend from Hamilton, we come into Stony Creek, which is an attempt to create as close a rendition of the prototype as possible, including roadway underpasses and homes opposite the station. Anyone familiar with Hamilton understands why its nickname is Steel City, because there is just so much steel industry that's been located there for many years, and this club layout attempts to honor that with a very large section of the layout.
But I'm going to go and I will go and physically look to make sure that he's not, and that the power is good.
Okay.
And that it's off.
But if the power's on, it still shouldn't.
Can we get those okay? Okay, so Mike's coming back from.
So this large.
Back to the junction. I built this whole one right over there under the
You want to go that? Yeah.
Two of the furnace buildings include lighted animation.
These are the kind of the glowy like they are. Where the electric arc furnace has a very high voltage put into the mix. That's why it gets that spark, kind of high brightness.
Both CN and CP service the Hamilton area, but their yards are on opposite sides of the town. Here is the club's representation of Aberdine Yard. As you can see, it's still a work in progress. St. Catharines, Ontario is located partway between Hamilton and Niagara Falls, closer to Niagara Falls than Hamilton. Its rich history includes quite a bit of industry, including the automotive sector, with General Motors having parts and engine plants there, as well as many paper manufacturing plants like Kimberly-Clark. There were many spurs where the track went right down the middle of the street, and locomotives, cars had to share the right of way.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, ACC is straight off.
Oh, yeah, you're the big. So this is kind of this express shed or something.
The CN main line continues west past London and eventually reaches the St. Clair River at Sarnia. About 120 kilometers north of Sarnia, along the shores of Lake Huron, lies the town of Goderich. Many years ago, a spider web of rail lines, both CN and CP, served southwestern Ontario in this area. Rail service today is currently provided by the Goderich and Exeter Railway. One of the largest industries in Goderich are the salt mines. These are actually underwater salt mines under Lake Huron. They have been active for well over 150 years. The layout includes a neat animation of salt facility underground.
Okay, when's your next?
As always, thank you for watching. If you're not already a subscriber, you can click on the logo on the top right-hand corner of your screen.